My kitchen blender. Started making smoothies I never programmed. I woke up to smoothies I never made, only to find homeless people had keys to my house and were using my blender and shower. I always liked having a kitchen blender around to whip up quick smoothies after work. My girlfriend Mia and I lived in a small rented house with a cozy kitchen, and the blender sat on the counter, usually gathering dust unless I felt like tossing in some fruit or spinach. I'm 28, a freelance writer juggling deadlines, and Mia, 27, works long shifts as a nurse, so our schedules kept us running. One morning, I woke up to find a fresh strawberry banana smoothie waiting, poured into a glass with a spoon beside it. The blender was still warm, and the kitchen smelled like ripe fruit. I figured Mia had gotten up early to surprise me, but she was still asleep, looking as puzzled as me when I tapped her shoulder to ask. She shook her head, saying she hadn't touched it, and we both stared at the glass. The next day, it happened again. A green smoothie with spinach, apple, and a hint of ginger, sitting there like I'd ordered it. I checked the blender's settings, but it only had basic buttons for pulse and speed, no fancy programs I'd set. Mia and I started laughing about a ghost chef sneaking in, but I grew curious. I noticed the fridge had less fruit than the night before, a banana and half an orange missing, and a towel in the bathroom was damp, even though neither of us had showered. I took photos of the smoothie, the blender with fruit bits still inside, and the wet towel, saving them on my phone. Mia suggested I might have sleepwalked and forgotten, but I knew my habits. I'd never wandered to the kitchen at night. I decided to set up a small camera I had from a work project, a compact device with a wide lens, hiding it on a high shelf to face the kitchen counter. I turned it on before leaving for a quick coffee run, grabbing my laptop from the living room too. When I returned, the footage showed a blurry figure moving around using the blender, then heading toward the bathroom with a towel. The clip was grainy, but I could see a shadow opening the fridge. I saved the video and tried zooming in, though the face stayed unclear. Mia watched it with me that evening, her jaw dropping, and we both wondered who had been in our house. I checked the doors and windows, finding the back door lock with fresh scratches and a loose handle like someone had jimmied it. I took a picture of the damage and added it to my phone. Over the next few days, the smoothies kept appearing. Mango one morning, blueberry with yogurt the next, each with a different glass from our cabinet. I set up a second camera near the back door, taping it behind a plant pot, and caught two people entering while we were out grocery shopping. They looked rough, with tangled hair and worn jackets, carrying small bags, and one headed straight for the shower while the other blended a smoothie. I saved the footage, noting their muddy shoes leaving prints on the floor. Mia and I realized they must have keys, but we hadn't given any to anyone. I checked the spare key under the mat. It was missing, replaced with a rusty duplicate. I swapped it with a fake key and added a small bell to the door to hear if they returned. The mystery deepened, and I started checking the house more often, wondering what else they were doing and how they got in without us noticing. The smoothies kept showing up, and the footage of the two strangers in our house made Mia and me uneasy. I had photos of the blender with leftover fruit, the damp towel, and the scratched back door lock, plus videos from the cameras showing them using our kitchen and shower. The fake key under the mat and the bell on the door were my first steps to catch them, but I wanted to know more. I started checking the house every time we left, looking for signs they'd been there. One afternoon, I found a half-eaten sandwich on the counter, wrapped in a napkin with a smudge of dirt, and a pair of worn-out socks tucked behind the couch. I took pictures of both and saved them, wondering how long they'd been comfortable enough to leave stuff. I adjusted the back door camera to get a better angle, adding a motion sensor to alert my phone when it triggered. That night, while Mia was at work, the sensor pinged and I watched live as one of the strangers, a man with a scruffy beard, entered with a bag of apples. He blended a smoothie, ate some bread from our pantry, and washed dishes before leaving. I saved the 15-minute clip, noting the time he spent. The next day, I found a small notebook under the sink, filled with grocery lists and a sketch of our kitchen layout. I photographed the pages and added them to my collection, realizing they'd been planning their visits. Mia came home and saw the notebook, suggesting we talk to the landlord about the lock. I decided to set a trap. I left out a marked jar of peanut butter, knowing we rarely used it, and sprinkled flour near the back door to catch footprints. The next morning, the jar was half empty, and the flour showed two sets of prints, one larger, one smaller. I took photos of the mess and saved them, noticing the prints led to the blender and bathroom. I also found a damp shirt hanging in the laundry room, not ours, with a faint smell of sweat. I bagged it and added it to my evidence, thinking they were using more than just the shower. Mia and I started locking the bedroom door when we left, worried they might wander further. To figure out how they got keys, I checked with the landlord's office, asking about spare copies. They said a maintenance worker had access months ago but lost track of a set. I wrote down the worker's name and saved the note, planning to follow up. That evening, I heard the bell jingle while cooking dinner, and the motion sensor caught the man again, this time with a woman. They brought a bag of vegetables, blended a carrot smoothie, and left a thank you note on a napkin. I saved the footage and the note, feeling a mix of annoyance and curiosity. I replaced the fake key with a dummy lockbox, baiting them to return, and started keeping a log of their visits, wondering if they were homeless and how to handle it without escalating things. The trap with the dummy lockbox and log of visits was working, and I was ready to figure out what to do about the strangers using our house. I had photos of the half-eaten sandwich, worn socks, and damp shirt, plus videos of them blending smoothies and showering, including the thank you note on a napkin. The flour footprints and peanut butter jar showed their routine, and the landlord's mention of a lost key set pointed to the maintenance worker. Mia and I were locking our bedroom now, but the situation felt strange, not scary, and I wanted to resolve it. I checked the log and saw they'd been back twice, leaving carrot tops and a clean plate. I decided to confront them indirectly. I left a note on the counter saying, "We know you're here. Please leave a way to contact you," and set up the backdoor camera to record their reaction. The next day, I found the note gone, replaced with a handwritten reply on scrap paper. "Sorry, need help. We'll explain." I took a photo of it and saved the footage showing a woman's handwriting it. I also noticed a small pile of coins, about $5, left beside the blender like payment. I photographed the coins and added them to my evidence, feeling a bit relieved they weren't just taking. Mia suggested we wait and see, so I left another note asking them to come when we were home. That weekend, the bell rang while we ate lunch, and the camera caught the man and woman entering. They looked nervous, carrying worn backpacks, and blended a smoothie before noticing us. I stayed calm, watching from the kitchen doorway as they froze. They left quickly but dropped a keyring with a tag reading Apartment 12B, not our address. I picked it up, took a picture, and saved it, realizing they might live nearby. I checked the apartment complex across the street, spotting a 12B window with a broken lock. I noted the building details and planned to talk to the manager. The blender had a new smoothie ready, and I found a clean shirt folded on the table, not ours. I contacted the maintenance worker through the landlord, asking about the lost keys. He admitted losing a set weeks ago and offered to replace our lock for free. I wrote down his apology and scheduled the fix. Meanwhile, I left a final note inviting them back with a time, hoping to understand. That evening, they returned, a man in his 40s and a younger woman, setting down bags and looking tired. They used the shower and blender, then left a note explaining they'd been homeless, found the key, and needed a safe spot. I saved the note and footage, deciding to help by contacting a shelter. Mia and I replaced the lock, kept the blender clean, and felt good about turning a weird situation into something positive.